So hi kids, this video is about refreshing your ideas about how to increase variables, and that is primarily the goal of this. This also is going to touch upon some other small aspects of variables. So let's quickly. So you can only increase variables which are of number type, right? What are the number types that we have seen till now in the classes? One is integer, one is float, and even vector 3. So you can only increase variables that are of type some number type. So let's create a variable. Let's create a variable named what do you say, number. Okay, and let's initialize. Now remember, what is initialize? Giving it an initial value. How do I make um, this variable hold a value bigger than or increase the value in this variable? If you have any awareness if you remember Scratch, you will remember there is a block called change variable by. So incrementing variables is the same as change variable by block. So you let's see, what do you think? So can you do it? If you remember, if you can you do can you increase the value of the number variable by 3 by doing this? Is this correct? No, because this is not how the people who have made this C# language, they have thought about it. In fact, most languages don't work like this, because this will just give you a value which is 3 more than itself. It will not update the variable number. Now, why would this be? Actually, it's quite obvious. Suppose you want to have another variable, okay, which has the value 3 more than itself, then it will be so weird, right? Because you will say, so suppose there's another variable called result. We want the result to have result. We want this result to have the value which is 3 more than number. Now if you do this result equal to, we don't want the variable number to change, but if we just do, like, number plus 3, if the language was designed in such a way that number plus 3 changes the number itself, the variable number itself, that means the number will have 4, then the result will also have 4, and the variable number will also have 4, but we never wanted the number variable to change. So what you do is you actually write it like this: number equal to, what is the new value of number? The old value of number, which is what? Just think about it yourself. So old value of number was 1 plus 3. So remember this very important fact: when a variable is written on the left hand side of the equal to sign, it becomes an empty container. But when it is written on the right side of the equal to sign, it is like emptying of the container. So you are taking everything that is in this. What is there in this? Number 1. So what we are doing is substituting this value of the number with the number itself. So number becomes 1, substituted 1 plus 3. What is 1 plus 3? Number equal to 4. Okay. Now quickly let's take an example of taking two variables and adding. Yeah. So okay, let's take another example. Let's take float. Variable name would be float number. Okay, let's not give it an initial value. Let's give it an initial value float equal to 5 in start. Just I'm doing it because I want you to see different ways of initializing, of setting up values. So here I didn't initialize float number, but I set up a value in start itself, which is like, yeah. So now what we'll do is, in every update we'll add 1 to it. So float number equal to, think about it yourself, pause the video if you want, close your eyes and I'll give the answer. Float number equal to float number plus 4. We'll give it a value, add a value of 4, and let's see in debug.log what we will see in the update. If you want to print the number, you can directly put the number in the bracket, in the debug.log bracket. Okay. Now let's quickly see this. What is the result of this? There is a sound which I will mute. I will unmute later. I will tell you why I have put the sound for this video. So there is a mute audio here which I've clicked, and where is my script? It's in the. I didn't add the script yet, so I'll add the script. The script name was test file. Okay, now in the console we will see. So let's switch. So I hope you know that these are all different types of logs: warning, error, and log. So we'll just switch on log right now, and we will see. So do you see at the bottom? I will just unmaximize it on play. So do you see the value of what is happening? Oh, I paused the game. Unpause. So it is going to increase by 4 in every update. So already reached 1000. That's how fast update goes. 364, 368, 1364, 1368, 13, like that. So it's increasing by 4 in every update. That's how you increase the value of a variable. Now, why is this important? Why is this useful? Very useful, because suppose you are making a game with some scoring. How will you increase the score? Suppose you have a variable called score, int score. After every diamond collection, you get 10 points. How will you do that? So suppose you are collecting diamonds here. How will you increase the score by 4 over here? You will say score equal to score plus 4. Simple. Now, very important thing, you may find that this is a very long way of writing it. If that is what you thought, very good, because we have a solution for this. So a shortcut for this is score. Now listen to this very carefully. Score plus equal to 4. Both of these are exactly the same. Both of these are exactly the same. So you don't have to write this whole long form. You can just write score plus equal to 4. Now I want to do the same thing here so that you can see that actually see what I mean. So I'm just going to put float number plus equal to 4. Okay, now let's see the result of this. I only made this change. So collect diamond is just to show you. It's not going to work right now because there is nothing that I have done to make it work. So let's quickly go here and see that, make sure that our code is unchanged. Earlier, all the in every update, the value 4 was getting added. Let us make sure that the same is happening right now. Yeah, okay, so that's what's happening. Now, what other users can there be? So what we'll do right now is I'll unmute my Unity tab and you will hear a humming driving sound which is playing on loop. Can you hear it? So there is a humming driving sound. I'll just switch off the log. Humming driving sound playing on loop. How can this knowledge of incrementing the variable help us? What we are going to do is, with the key press, we are going to increase the pitch of the sound. So if you go back to the audio source component here, you will see there's something called a pitch. Okay, now if I increase the pitch, see what happens here and tell me the difference. I mean, think about the difference. It became very sharp, as if the car is going faster. Okay, now this is typically what you will use in a game where you are making a car game, suppose, and your car is making a humming sound. The faster it goes, the pitch becomes higher. But how will we add the pitch? How will we increase the pitch? The first thing that we'll need to do is we'll have to write an audio, so we'll have to get an audio source component. We can directly do or get component dot, but let's create a variable for making it things clean, audio src, and unless we do a get component in it, this variable will be empty. It will be an empty container. So we'll have to put do a get component audio source. We can't go do a get component rigid body. We'll do a get component audio source in here. And for this audio source, there is a property called, so what is this? What do you mean by property? It's basically an inbuilt variable. So what is a property called? Pitch. Okay. So let's just say audio source dot pitch. Audio source dot pitch. If I simply say equal to, it will remain stuck at that value. What I'll do is I'll say equal to itself. What is itself here? Or I can equal to audio source dot pitch plus, think about it, plus some value, because that thing was going from it was going very I mean the range was very small, so we'll add a really small value, pitch plus, or let's do this, let's do it on key press. If input dot get key down key code dot up arrow, and then we'll just say audio source dot pitch equal to audio source dot pitch plus 0.1. I think 0.1 is a fair amount of addition. Audio source dot pitch plus 0 0.1 f. Okay, now you would be if you are wondering why I'm using the long form here again, then you are right. We can actually use a short form also. We can just say a plus and remove this from the right side, otherwise it will add 2 times. So plus equal to 0.1, simple, clean. but it means exactly the same as audio source dot pitch equal to audio source dot pitch plus 0.1. This is a shortcut we should start using. Now let us do the up arrow and see how our sound changes. Rather, hear how our sound changes. Some compiler error, no compiler error. My spellings are all good. Now let's hear it. Okay, it's going slow. Now I'm going to press the up arrow. Pressed once, pressed twice. In fact, let me just bring up the slider also so that you can see it. Keep a watch on the slider over here, the pitch slider over here. Okay, here. It went faster, but somehow the sound is not coming. Can you see? Let's do it again so that you get more clarity. So this pitch value I'm increasing by 0.1 on key press. Okay. So I press the key and keep a watch on the pitch variable. It is increasing by 0.1. Okay, one last time. So I didn't tell you when I'm pressing the key. So I'm going to be pressing the key now. I press the key, press the key, press the key, press the up key, press the up key. See, press the up key, press the up key, press the up key, press the up key. It's going up. So this is how you can increment variables, which not only the ones that you have created, but the ones that belong to Unity as well. A very classic case is of transform.position. So let's quickly create a variable of type vector3 and say this is a test vec. Okay, and we'll give it an initialize it to new vector3, say 0 0 0. Okay, now with key press we are going to add some value to it. How do you add two vectors together? Just add them together and then the corresponding values get added. So let's say test vec plus equal to, again we are only going to use the short form now, but basically it means the whole thing. Test vec equal to test vec plus something, plus equal to new vector3. Let's add 1 comma 0 comma 0. Now this is just a vector that we have created. We are going to use this to move an object very soon. Okay, we have done this in the class, but this is just a refresher. And now what we are also going to, instead of debug.log of the float number, we are going to debug log this test vec. Just drop in the test vec variable name instead of the float variable name, and we are good to go. So every time I press the key, it's going to increase by 1, and we shall see that in the console window quickly. And after this, we are going to apply the same code to, instead of the test vec, we'll just take the transform.position, which is the position of the object. So it will move from left to right. It will move in X. That's it. So instead of incrementing let me just mute this tab. We don't really need this. Please keep an eye on the console window at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to press an up arrow and see what happens. I got a debug.log, but I switched all of them. So it's 1 0 0. Now what will happen? Wait, let me press it. I pressed it again. 2 0 0, 3 0 0, 4 0 0. Every time I press the vector, why are the other 2 0 0? Because we are not adding anything to y and z. I'm only adding something to the x. So now instead of test vec, why don't I take this and add to my transform? You remember transform is the word transform with a small t is a shortcut for get component transform. The transform.position is the position variable. So now transform, if I do this, my position variable of my transform, how did this position variable come? How did this transform? In fact, even this transform is an inbuilt variable. It's a shortcut you can say, but it's an inbuilt variable created by Unity, guys. These are all variables, just like the pitch variable. We didn't create the pitch variable. It was created by somebody who's working at Unity, or the team who's working at Unity. Similarly, position is a variable that's created by Unity itself, but this variable controls the position of the object. That's the interesting part of it. It's not just a variable that you can debug log, but it's also a variable that has an actual impact on what you're seeing. So what we'll do is I will make this I'll make a sphere quickly, and I will attach this script to the sphere. I will remove the script from the main camera. We don't need it over there. I want to move the sphere around. So I'll just remove it from here, remove component, I'll go to the sphere, okay, and then I will add it to the sphere. What should happen? I'm adding 1 to the x position of the x of the transform dot position variable. Let's also keep that variable open, and I'm going to press the up arrow, and hopefully the sphere should move right. So this here, let me make it 0 so that easy to understand. Now I'm about to press the up arrow. See, I press the up arrow. Oh, some error I'm getting. Oh, why is that? Because there is no audio source component here. Okay, so let me just add an audio source component. Audio source, and let me just add that clip just car sound. Now let's see what happens when I press the up arrow, and let's see what happens with the x position variable, which is what I'm adding to. I'm not setting it, I'm adding to it. There's a very basic difference which you should always be aware of: adding and setting. Adding is like the set variable block of Scratch. Setting is like the set variable block, and adding is like the change variable block. See, it's moving to the right. Okay, I'm no longer adding to the vector now. The way, because that's going to remain the same at the bottom. But my sphere is moving to the right with this simple code. But what I'm basically doing is simply incrementing the variable, just like this. Just like incrementing to the pitch variable or a variable that I have created, I'm just incrementing the position variable, so it's moving right. So this is how your concepts about variables get connected to what you're actually seeing on the screen. And this is going to keep happening more and more. Your programming knowledge, the knowledge of how you write programs, is going to directly affect what you see in the game window. So please be very clear about it, because programming and gaming, they are not two different things. Game development needs very good programming skills. Okay, so thank you for watching, and please keep all these things in mind.